মামলার বিচার পিডি trial. Trial of Asia to start within a week. Special tribunal will go for a speedy trial of rape and molestation, says law advisor. $30,000 head teachers of government primary school to get status of second-class gazetted officer and 10th grade salary, appellate division verdict. Putin aide dismisses short-term ceasefire with Ukraine as Trump's envoy in Moscow for talks. And in Dhaka, Premier League cricket, Ghazi group cricketers, Ogroni Bank Cricket Club and Gulshan Cricket Club win their respective matches. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Tasnumat Tassim, welcoming you to News at 10. You've just heard the headlines, now moving on to the details. Bangladesh will be graduated from the LDC in 2026. A final decision was taken at a meeting of the Advisory Council held at Chief Advisor's office today. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus presided over the meeting. Members of the Advisory Council and secretaries concerned were present. At the meeting, in order to reduce government expenditure, the Advisory Council approved a proposal to observe the National Youth Day and the International Youth Day simultaneously on August 12th. In addition, the Advisory Council gave final approval to 3 ordinances. These are: Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University will be renamed as Bangladesh Medical University. Sheikh Hasina Medical University, Khulna, will be renamed as Khulna Medical University. And Bangomata Sheikh Fazilutun-Nesa Mujib Medical University, Sylhet, will be renamed as Sylhet Medical University. At the meeting of the Advisory Council, a decision was taken to introduce both Jamdani Shari and Tangal's Tat Shari globally as symbol of Bangladesh's cultural heritage. After the meeting, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shofiqul Alam briefed journalists at the Foreign Service Academy in the capital.
ক্যাবিনেটের ডিসিশন হচ্ছে যে আমরা 2026-এ এলডিসি গ্র্যাজুয়েশন করব। এই বিষয়ে আজকে চূড়ান্ত সিদ্ধান্ত হয়েছে। তো এটা এই বিষয়ে যেই ধরনের চ্যালেঞ্জগুলো যেগুলো আসবে সেটা ফেস করার জন্য এখন থেকেই প্রিপারেশন নেওয়ার কথা মাননীয় চিফ অ্যাডভাইজার বলেছেন এবং সেই অনুযায়ী অনেকগুলো পজিশন পেপার করা হয়েছে এবং এগুলো নিয়ে প্রিপারেশনও আমাদের অ্যাডিকুয়েট প্রিপারেশন নেওয়া হচ্ছে। আমরা বলতে পারি আমরা যখন 2026-এ এলডিসি গ্র্যাজুয়েশন হবে বাংলাদেশের আমরা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল মর্যাদা আরও বৃদ্ধি পাবে এবং বাংলাদেশের বিজনেস এর সক্ষমতা আরো বৃদ্ধি পাবে। পতিত স্বৈরাচার 560টি মসজিদ করেছিলেন $1 বিলিয়ন। অনেকে বলেন, অনেকের তাদের স্বৈরাচারের যে সাপোর্টার তারা বলতে চান যে এটা সৌদি ফান্ডেড একটা প্রজেক্ট। সৌদি এখানে একটা টাকাও দেয়নি। এখানে সৌদির কোনো এটা ট্যাক্স পেয়ার মানিতে এই প্রায় $1 বিলিয়ন এটা একটা প্রজেক্ট। তো এই মসজিদের অনেক অনিয়মের কথা উঠে এসছে। ধর্ম মন্ত্রণালয় এটার একটা ইনভেস্টিগেট করার জন্য একটা কমিটি করে দিয়েছেন। তারা কমিটিটা এটার কিভাবে এটার এই মসজিদ নির্মাণে কি পরিমাণ করাপশন হয়েছে, এটার মধ্যে কি ধরনের অন্যায় অত্যাচার হয়েছে সেগুলো তারা ইনভেস্টিগেট করে দেখবেন। চিফ অ্যাডভাইজার মহোদয় আজকে ক্যাবিনেট সেক্রেটারিকে বলেছেন যে খুব দ্রুত সরকারি সংস্থাগুলোতে, সরকারি ডিপার্টমেন্ট, সরকারের সমস্ত অফিসগুলোতে যাতে খুব দ্রুত প্রচুর জনবল নিয়োগ করা যায়, যেগুলো জায়গায় ভ্যাকান্সি আছে সেটা খুব এটা টেন্স অফ থাউজেন্ডস অফ এটা করছেন এবং এই অনুযায়ী ক্যাবিনেট সেক্রেটারি আগামী মিটিংয়ে এটা উপস্থাপন করবে যে কোথায় কোথায় নিয়োগ প্রক্রিয়া খুব দ্রুত শুরু করা যাবে এবং কি পরিমাণ নিয়োগ করা যেতে পারে এবং এটা খুব দ্রুত এই কাজটা করা হবে।
He said the chief advisor will go to China on March 26th on a 4-day visit to join WOW conference. The chief advisor will address the conference and hold a bilateral meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
মহোদয় 26 তারিখে চায়না যাচ্ছেন, 4 দিনের সফর, 26, 27, 28, 29 সেখানে উনি ওয়াও ফোরাম আছে ওদের ওখানে। এটা একটা ইন্টারন্যাশনালি খুব নামকরা একটা কনফারেন্স এখানে হয়, পৃথিবীর অনেক লিডাররা এখানে আসেন, উনি ওখানে কথা বলবেন এবং আমরা এক্সপেক্ট করছি যে এই মিটিংয়ের এই ওয়াও ফোরামের বাইরেও চায়নার প্রেসিডেন্ট শি জিনপিংয়ের সাথে আমরা এক্সপেক্ট করছি যে ওনার একটা বায়োলেটারাল মিটিং হবে।
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has arrived in Dhaka today on a 4-day official visit at the invitation of Chief Advisor Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus. Guterres landed at Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport this afternoon aboard Emirates flight EK586. Upon his arrival at the VVIP terminal, he was warmly received by Foreign Affairs Advisor Mohammad Tauhid Hussain. Several high-ranking officials, including Finance Advisor Dr. Saleh-Uddin Ahmed, the Chief of the Army, Navy and Air Force and the Chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority of Bangladesh Air Vice Marshal Mohammad Munzur Kobir Bhuiya were present to welcome him. During his visit, Guterres has a series of crucial meetings scheduled. Tomorrow morning, he is set to meet with Foreign Affairs Advisor Mohammad Tauhid Hussain and High Representative for the Chief Advisor on Rohingya Issues and Priority Affairs Dr. Khalilur Rahman. Later, Guterres will visit the Chief Advisor's office where he will hold a significant meeting with Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus. This high-profile discussion is expected to touch upon key policy matters including Bangladesh's economic and social progress as well as global peace and development strategies. Following the meeting, the UN Secretary-General will travel to Cox's Bazar via a commercial flight of Biman Bangladesh Airlines to visit the Rohingya refugee camps. The burial of Asiya, the young victim of a horrific case of abuse in Magura, has been completed. Following the Isha prayer, her second funeral prayer was held, after which she was laid to rest at her ancestral village at Shonai Kundi in Shripur. Earlier, her first namaz-e-janaza was held at Nomani Moidan in Magura this evening. Asiya's dead body was transported to Magura via a helicopter from the Combined Military Hospital CMH, where she had been fighting for her life. Despite relentless efforts by doctors, she succumbed to her injuries at 1 p.m. on Thursday, marking the end of a brutal and unimaginable ordeal. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has expressed deep sorrow over Asiya's untimely death. In a strong statement, he has called for swift justice, ordering authorities to ensure that those responsible face the full force of the law. In response to the heartbreaking news, prominent figures including National Citizen Party leaders Hasnat Abdullah and Sharji Salom as well as Hifazat-e-Islam leader Mamunul Haq rushed to the hospital. They vowed to push for legal reforms if necessary to ensure that such heinous crimes never go unpunished. Asiya fell victim to an unthinkable act of violence on March 6th. The horrifying incident sparked widespread outrage across Magura and the entire country, with citizens from all walks of life demanding justice for the victim Asiya. The trial over rape and murder of a child from Magura will begin within a week. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Professor Asif Nozrul informed this at a press briefing held at his Secretariat office today. The law advisor hoped that the criminals will get exemplary punishment. The incident of rape of the 8-year-old child in Magura stoked massive angers and protests across the country. Students as well as common people raised their voices against rapes of women and children, as well as organized repression and harassments on women. Law enforcers are going tough against the incidents of rape, women repressions and harassments. Police arrested the accused in the rape incident of Magura at the earliest, and the court put them on remand. The 8-year-old child became the victim of rape on March 6 at her sister's home. Bangladesh has tough laws against rape and violence against women and children. Lawyers say there are different social hurdles in Bangladesh over filing of lawsuits despite there are provisions of the highest punishment for rape in the country. Analysts say social and family awareness is necessary alongside ensuring justice to check rape, sexual harassments and violence against women and children. They stress the need for special care about children by their family to avoid unexpected situations. Headmasters of government primary schools will get the status of second-class gazetted officers. In addition, from now on, they will get salary in 10th grade. A 4-member appellate division bench led by Chief Justice Syed Rifat Ahmed gave this verdict today. As many as 30,000 headmasters of government primary schools across the country will get this status, salary and benefits. Senior lawyer Barrister Salahuddin Dolon argued in the court for teachers. He said the appellate division gave the verdict by upholding the verdict of the High Court. So the verdict will be effective from 9th March 2014. A separate authority should look after data management of NID, considering its security and good governance, experts opined. They noted that officers and employees should not engage in campaigns. They said if someone has different views on this issue, they may go for resolving issue via dialogues. Official sources said the government is yet to establish data authority. The decisions relating to NID will be taken gradually, and NID employees were ensured that no one will lose their jobs, they added. Age limit for applying in the health cadre has been proposed to raise to 34 from the existing 32. Chief Advisor Special Health Assistant Officer Saidur Rahman informed this on the health sector development at the Secretariat today. He said that MBBS students and Assistant Professor Saidur Rahman informed this at a press briefing. He said that MBBS students' course is 6 years including internship, and considering this, 34 years have been proposed for the health cadre. 2,000 physicians will be appointed through special BCS to ensure health service in the remote areas of the country, he has also informed. Bangladesh and Gambia today signed reciprocal visa waiver agreement for the diplomatic and government passport holders. This will strengthen relations between the two countries, Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry expressed the hope at a press briefing today. The reciprocal visa waiver agreement for the diplomatic and government passport holders of Bangladesh and Gambia was signed at the Secretariat. Home Advisor retired Lieutenant General Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry signed the agreement on behalf of Bangladesh and Gambian Foreign Minister Dr. Mamadou Angara on behalf of his country. The agreement will make easier the diplomatic exchange and also will further expand cooperation between the two countries. Ministry of Foreign Affairs MOFA today reacted against Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs recent comments on election and other issues. Indian recent comments are unwarranted and tantamount to interference in the internal affairs of another country, MOFA spokesperson Mohammad Rafiqul Alam told journalists at weekly briefing. He noted that Bangladesh never comments on internal affairs of another country. Bangladesh also expects similar behavior. Rafiqul Alam said BGB-BSF conference has discussed about bringing down border killings to zero. Pointing to Farakka water sharing treaty, he said the treaty is observed properly, but Indian side have been requested to take necessary steps as water flow in Ganges upstream is lower than normal this year. Referring to questions relating to return of Sheikh Hasina from India, the MOFA spokesperson said India is silent on this issue. Russian ambassador to Bangladesh Alexander Z. Kozin paid a courtesy call on Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Dr. Shofiqur Rahman at the Jamaat's Mokbazar Central Office. Jamaat-e-Islami Naibi Amir Dr. Said Abdullah Muhammad Tahir, Secretary General Professor Mia Golam Parwar, Naibi Amir A.N.M. Shamsul Islam, Central Executive Council member Mubarak Hossain and Central Assistant Secretary General Maulana Rafiqul Islam Khan were present at the time. After the meeting, Jamaat's Naibi Amir Dr. Said Abdullah Muhammad Tahir said that this was the first time a Russian ambassador had visited their central office. Abdullah Mohammad Tahir said that discussions were held on the development of bilateral relations between Russia and Bangladesh as well as the current situation in Bangladesh. He also said that discussions were held about the interrelations between Jamaat and Russia.
Ma, ক্ষুধা লাগছে, খাইতে দাও। টেবিলে খাবার রাখা আছে, খায় নে। মা, আমি এই খাবার খাবো না। কেন? তাইলে গন্ধ? গন্ধ হইব কেন?
কি হইছে? লক্ষ্মী মায়ের ধমকাইতেছো কেন?
লক্ষ্মী না চাই, প্রত্যেক বেলা খাবার নিয়ে ঝামেলা করে। কথাটা ঠিক না। আমি কইছি পচাবাসি খাবার আমি খাবো না। ভাইজান কি করমু কও? প্রত্যেক বেলা নতুন নতুন রান্নার সময় কই। তাই এক বেলা রাঁধি দুই বেলা খাই।
একবার রান্না করে দুই বেলা খাইতেই পারো, কিন্তু রান্না করা খাবার ভালোভাবে সংরক্ষণ করে খাইতে হইব।
সেটা আবার কেমনে?
রান্না করা খাবার স্বাভাবিক তাপমাত্রায় 2 ঘন্টার বেশি রাখা যাইব না। 2 ঘন্টার বেশি রান্না করা খাবার খাওয়ার আগে আবার ভালো কইরা গরম করে নিতে হইব।
মামা, তুমি মাইরে কও, তোমার পরামর্শ মাইনা চলতে। ঠিক আছে রে মা, আর কইতে হইব না।
পচাবাসি খাবার খেলে অসুখ হবে সবাই বলে, সুস্থ দেহ যদি চাই টাটকা খাবার সদাই খাই।
Moving on to international news. Vladimir Putin says Russia agrees with the Ukraine ceasefire, but it should lead to enduring peace and remove underlying causes of this crisis. Watch his comments live above. He's speaking as Donald Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow ahead of US-Russia talks on a 30-day ceasefire proposal. Earlier, the Kremlin said it was in the final stage of the operation to drive Ukraine from territory it seized in Kursk. Putin continues with his thoughts on a possible ceasefire. All these issues need to be painstakingly studied by both sides, he says, adding that the idea of a ceasefire is good and we absolutely support it, but there are issues that we need to discuss. Putin says he believes we need to negotiate with our American colleagues and partners and maybe have a phone call with US President Donald Trump. Palestinians in Gaza are suffering through the 12th day of Israel's total blockade of the Gaza Strip with no food, fuel or medicine allowed in. Meanwhile, mediated negotiations between Israel and Hamas continue in Doha with the US proposal of a 60-day ceasefire extension and the release of 10 living Israeli captives on the table. Israel has carried out genocidal acts against Palestinians by systematically destroying women's healthcare facilities during its war on Gaza and using sexual violence as a war strategy, United Nations experts have said. At least 1,383 civilians, the vast majority of them Alawites, were killed at a wave of violence that gripped Syria's Mediterranean coast, a war monitor said on Wednesday. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the civilians were killed in executions by security forces and allied groups. After a wave of violence broke out last week in the coastal heartland of the Alawite minority to which toppled President Bashar al-Assad belonged. The Britain-based observatory added that even as the violence subsided, the toll was still rising as bodies continued to be discovered, many on farmland or in their homes. The latest deaths were recorded in the coastal provinces of Latakia and Tartus and in the neighboring central provinces of Hama, it said. It accused the security forces and allied groups of participating in field executions, forced displacement and burning of homes with no legal deterrent. The violence erupted on Thursday when clashes broke out after gunmen loyal to Assad staged attacks on the new security forces. At least 231 security personnel were killed in the ensuing clashes, according to their official toll. The observatory said 250 pro-Assad fighters were killed. The UN Human Rights Office said it had documented summary executions that appeared to have been carried out on a sectarian basis. Interim President Ahmad al-Shara, who led the Sunni Islamist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham that toppled Assad, has vowed to prosecute those behind the bloodshed of civilians and set up a fact-finding committee. Greenland's pro-business opposition, Democratic Party, which favors a slow approach to independence from Denmark, won Tuesday's parliamentary election that was dominated by US President Donald Trump's pledge to take control of the island. Democrats secured 29.9% of the votes, with all ballots counted, up from 9.1% in 2021, ahead of the opposition Nalerak party, which favors rapid independence, at least 24.5%. Since taking office in January, Donald Trump has vowed to make Greenland a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, part of the United States, saying it is vital to U.S. security interests, an idea rejected by most Greenlanders. The vast island, with a population of just 57,000, has been caught up in a geopolitical race for dominance in the Arctic, where melting ice caps are making its resources more accessible and opening shipping routes. Both Russia and China have intensified military activity in the region. The ruling Inuit Ataqatigiit party and its partner Siumut, which also seek a slow path toward independence, won a combined 36% of votes, down from 66.1% in 2021. India is set to implement a controversial citizenship law that offers amnesty to non-Muslim illegal immigrants from neighboring countries 3 years after it sparked massive protests. In this connection, a parliamentary already been moved yesterday. The proposed law gives citizenship to religious minorities from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government says it gives sanctuary to people fleeing religious persecution, but critics say the law is anti-Muslim. The law was passed in 2019 but was put on hold amid massive protests in which scores of people died and many more were arrested. The government has not given a date for when it will come into effect, but the announcement comes months before the general elections, in which Mr. Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party is seeking a third term. The Citizenship Amendment Bill was passed in the upper house of Parliament, where the BJP lacks a majority by 125 votes to 105 on 11 December 2019. It had cleared the lower house 2 days earlier. The CAB amendment, the 64-year-old Indian citizenship law, which currently prohibits illegal migrants to becoming Indian citizens. It defined illegal immigrants as foreigners who enter India without a valid passport or travel documents or stay beyond the permitted time. Illegal immigrants can be deported or jailed. The new bill also amended a provision which says a person must have lived in India or worked for the federal government for at least 11 years before they can apply for citizenship. Chief of Army Staff General Waqaruzzaman has said the valiant freedom fighters of the 1971 Liberation War showed us how to snatch victory by combating the enemy. The Army Chief said this at a iftar mahfil hosted in honor of the brave freedom fighters of 1971, martyred Army members of the BDR Carnage and Shohid of July Mass uprising at Dhaka cantonment today. At this time, he exchanged pleasantries with the family members of the martyred Army members during BDR killing and July movement. The Army Chief further said that February 25th has been observed as Martyred Soldiers' Day, commemorating the killing of Shohid Army soldiers in BDR massacre. BNP leader Salahuddin Ahmed expressed hope that interim government will prepare a roadmap to conduct national election in December, as implementation of national reform is a long task. Salahuddin Ahmed was addressing iftar mahfil hosted by Gano Adhikar Porishad at a local hotel in the capital today. Gano Adhikar Porishad President Nurul Haq Nur, BNP leader Mirza Abbas among others addressed on the occasion. The speakers observed that after fall of fascist Sheikh Hasina on August 5th, all political parties are enjoying fear-free environment. They added that unity of all political parties is a must to conduct national elections smoothly and to help build a beautiful country. Now the timing for Sehri tonight and Friday iftar for Dhaka and its adjoining areas. Last time for Sehri at 4:52 a.m. and Friday's iftar at 6 to 8 p.m. in Dhaka and its adjoining areas. Moving on to news on sports. Gazi Group cricketers Agroni Bank Cricket Club and Gulshan Cricket Club have won their respective matches in the Dhaka Premier Division Cricket League today. Gazi Group cricketers beat Shine Pukur Cricket Club by 8 wickets at BKSP Ground 3. Batting first, Shine Pukur Cricket Club were all out for 161 runs in 45 overs and 2 balls. In reply, Gazi Group cricketers scored 162 runs for 2 wickets in 17 overs and 5 balls. Enamul Haq Bijoy scored 52 runs for the team. Agroni Bank Cricket Club beat Dhanmondi Cricket Club by 5 wickets at BKSP Ground 4. Batting first, Dhanmondi Cricket Club lost all wickets for 115 runs in 33 overs and 5 balls. In reply, Agroni Bank Cricket Club scored 120 runs for 5 wickets in 38 overs and 5 balls. Gulshan Cricket Club beat Rupganj Tigers Cricket Club by 6 wickets at Sher-e-Bangla National Cricket Stadium in Mirpur. Batting first, Rupganj Tigers Cricket Club scored 228 runs for 9 wickets in 50 overs. Amit Mojumdar scored 88 runs for the team. In reply, Gulshan Cricket Club scored 232 runs for 4 wickets in 46 overs and 5 balls. Bangladesh's experienced campaigner Mahmudullah Riyad announced his retirement from international cricket yesterday night. He made the announcement on his social media platforms. The cricketer recently represented the Bangladesh team at the 2025 ICC Champions Trophy in Pakistan. Mahmudullah, who turned 39 last month, had already retired from Test in 2021 and T20s in 2024. Mahmudullah finishes as Bangladesh's 4th highest run scorer behind Mushfiqur Rahim, Shakib Al Hasan and Tamim Iqbal with 5,689 runs at an average of 36.46, including 400s and 32 50s. His retirement comes a week after Mushfiqur, his longtime teammate and brother-in-law, had also retired from ODIs. The 39-year-old is the only Bangladeshi player to have hit 3 centuries in ODI World Cups, with 2 of them coming in the 2015 edition and 1 in 2023. The veteran represented Bangladesh in 239 ODIs, 50 Test and 141 T20s. The cricketer also aggregated 11,047 runs for Bangladesh across all international formats. Mahmudullah made his international debut with an ODI, doing so with a match against Sri Lanka on Colombo back in July 2007. Defending champions Real Madrid stormed into the quarter-finals of the Champions League, beating city rivals Atletico Madrid 4-2 in penalty shootout to keep their title defense alive. In the second leg of the Champions League, last 16 features English giants Arsenal, another English club Aston Villa and German outfit Borussia Dortmund also secured last 8 slots, winning their respective matches. Real Madrid prevailed in a tense derby that had ended 2-2 on aggregate score. The dramatic shootout saw Atletico's Argentine forward Julian Alvarez's spot kick disallowed by VAR. Alvarez lost his balance before taking the kick. He appeared to touch the ball twice. Arsenal, who blasted Dutch opponents PSV Eindhoven 7-1 in the first leg, drew 2-2 in the second. With a 9-3 aggregate win over PSV, the English side set up a Champions League quarter-final against holders Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund edged past French opponent Lille by 2-1 goals, while Aston Villa had a relatively stress-free journey to the last 8, beating club Brugge of Belgium 3-1. The quarterfinals pairings are Arsenal versus Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain versus Aston Villa, Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. First leg games of the quarterfinals will be held on April 8th and 9th, and return games will roll on April 15th and 16th respectively. Now to end the bulletin, headlines once again. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres arrives in Dhaka on a 4-day official visit. UN Secretary General and Chief Advisor to join Rohingya refugees for iftar in Cox's Bazar tomorrow. Bangladesh set to graduate from LDC Group in 2026, decides Advisors Council. Chief Advisor asks all concerned to take preparations to face LDC graduation challenges. Child Asia laid to rest at her village in Magura. Chief Advisor directs law enforcers to bring criminals under speedy trial. Trial of Asia to start within a week. Special tribunal will go for speedy trial of rape and molestation, says law advisor. $30,000 head teachers of government primary school to get status of second-class gazetted officer and 10th grade salary, appellate division verdict. Putin aid dismisses short-term ceasefire with Ukraine as Trump's envoy in Moscow for talks. And in Dhaka Premier League cricket, Gazi Group cricketers Ogroni Bank Cricket Club and Gulshan Cricket Club win their respective matches. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we request you to watch our Bangla news next midnight. Until then, Allah Hafiz.